2018 Tesla Model 3 with the hardware, the full self computer 3 hardware. So right now I just have this thing running on autopilot. Next week I'll put it on the full self drive, and I'll give you guys a couple good videos on the full self drive and how it works and the features behind it, safety things that I really like. They changed a few things, like you don't have to have your hands on the steering wheel on full self-drive no more, but with the autopilot, you do have to torque the steering wheel every now and then. But I want to show you the gist of the autopilot, how I use it, and how it helps me, because they added a few extra features to it, like curb assist. It's really handy. Y'all enjoy. I know it's dark in here. It's really early in the morning. I just dropped my wife off at work, so I don't want a whole bunch of light in here blinding everyone. Blinding me. Now, I do have the acceleration package. When I got this car, I paid an additional like $2,000 for it. It's really nice. Like, I didn't think it would be that big of a difference, but you can feel the difference. Like, it's wild. I just disengaged the autopilot just because of the red light here. I got it turn. Full self-drive. You don't even have to touch the steering wheel. It handles all of that for you. Now, if you never rode in a Tesla, like you don't own one, never rode in one, there's a few things that you'll notice. Like every time I turn on the autopilot, you'll see these two blue lines on the side that tells you you're in autopilot mode. With a full self-drive, it's like a solid bar, just one bar that goes in front of your car, and it will auto use the bright lights and auto dim them every time it sees a car coming. Or if you get behind a car, it'll dim them to regular headlights. Now, even though this is a merge, I'm letting the autopilot handle it. It does just fine doing it. It's a little wonky, but it does just fine. Screen flash blue there. It was basically telling me to torque the steering wheel. That way it knows that I'm paying attention to the car driving. See it dim the brights. Disengage the autopilot. My wife used to drive a Buick Enclave, but after she drove this car for more than a week, she can't drive anything else. This car ruins you. But it ruins you in a good way. If you're anything like me, whenever you're driving, sometimes I used to get in like hurries, but with the autopilot, you know, it's really handy. Like, you're always curious and just watching it. You're a little more patient, so I feel like the trips go by a little bit faster, even though they're not. You normally take maybe like from Kentucky down to Florida. Whenever we go on our trips, we probably take about an hour longer than when we would drive in a gas car. Just because of the charging stations, they're not as bad as what most people think. It'll tell you to stop at a supercharger whenever you're around probably like 5 to 10% battery, and then it'll charge you up enough to go another 2 hours. But for about, it'll take about 10-15 minutes to charge that. Then you'll drive another 2 hours. You'll stop, charge for 10 minutes, drive for 2 hours. But yeah, it's about an hour added on to your trip. That's if you were driving pretty good. If you're going the speed limit the whole way, it's about the same. There's not much of a difference at all. Or if you have family that's always like, I gotta pay, it's the same. Auto brakes, whenever the car pulled out, car coming, and turned them off. I'm going to disengage up here just because this is a very sharp curve, and the autopilot's going to think I need to go straight, and I do not. I need to go left. Full self-drive would have handled it just fine though. This curve up here is real sharp. The car will handle it on its own. It's doing curb assist active now. That's a new feature. Even though it would do it before, they kind of made it a lot more aggressive. So that's good because then you're not really scared going into the turn. I know the first few times that I let the car do it, it was pretty scary. You're like, is it going to do it? Is it going to slow down? Is it going to turn? If you notice, like my speed, it changes with the autopilot. Sometimes it doesn't. With full self-drive, it always changes. Now, I do have it offset because my tire size and everything else, like when I'm driving, it's 2 mile an hour off. I have to go 2 mile an hour faster according to the car to actually be going the speed that I'm supposed to be going on the road. So, there's that. I sped it up, but it's doing curb assist and slowing down. That's doing great. Autopilot is fine on these back roads now. The other luxuries of owning a electric vehicle, Tesla, plug it in whenever you get home, plug it when you leave. You don't ever have to really stop and charge anywhere unless you're going on a road trip. You just plug it in when you get home and forget about it. No more stopping at a gas station early in the morning to pump your gas. You just go. And with it being plugged into the house, or wherever you're at, whenever you have like a work schedule, you punch it in your phone and you tell it your times that you needed to precondition before you leave, and it will be absolutely ready to go. Have the batteries warmed up. It will make sure the car is at the right temperature. If it's really hot out, it'll cool it off. If it's really cold, it'll warm it all up, defrost everything for you. It's just really nice. And yes, other cars have their preconditioning thing. You can have like the remote start, things like that, but with the Tesla, you're not wasting gas, right? You're plugged in, it's using the electric from your house to precondition it and get it set up and ready to go. So you're not emptying the tank, taking away from the mileage before you leave for work or wherever else you're going in the morning. Handling all these curves just fine. that curve kind of fast, and it was worried that I wasn't paying attention. But I take this way every single morning and does the same thing every time, so I wasn't worried about it. I'm on disengaging here from the stop sign, and then I gotta make a turn. And you see this green bar, for those of you that don't have a Tesla, every time that you are slowing down, you let off the throttle, it does not, you don't have to use your brakes unless you're in an emergency or you get scared. The car slows itself down using the motors, with the magnets and stuff like that, and it charges the battery. So when you're slowing down, you're actually gaining percentages. On our road trips, when we're going like on a long trip or we're going through the mountains, when we go down the mountain, we usually gain like 3, 4, 5% battery on the way down. I'll re-engage, I forgot. Now you'll also notice whenever you're in the car that you'll notice that the little blue steering wheel up here, it turns with the steering wheel, so if it turns to the right, it's going to turn to the right. It's kind of cool. Gotta get on this ramp in just a second. Tesla too, just like how if you take a turn, your blinker turns off normally. There's actually a setting that whenever you complete a lane change with your blinker on, it'll automatically turn it off, and that's really handy. Now I'm going to show you this here in just a second here. Once this car up here is gone, let's say I was driving without autopilot, right? And this is just a safety features you can enable in the settings. They should automatically be on. Let's say I was falling asleep at the wheel, right? And I was getting ready to cross into another lane, right? So as you get over to this other lane with the oncoming traffic, I'm going to hit it. Back in your lane. So it does not let you cross with ease. In case you're having an issue or you fell asleep, it's going to put you back in your lane, give you enough time to wake up. But it knows that it's not supposed to cross that line. And I believe that enables like over a certain mile an hour. It might be like 45 or 50. have any specific questions about Teslas, specifically, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And I'll either make a video showing you how that feature works or answering your questions, and, you know, try to break some of these myths about electric vehicles and everything people say, because you can drive them anywhere. We've taken this one all the way from Kentucky into Canada, through New York, Maine, all the way down to Delaware, into Florida, all the way out to the Grand Canyon and to Vegas, and then we took a longer way back over to go to Utah and Colorado and stuff, just to sightsee. And it was a rather nice trip. We got a lot of sightseeing in. Hopefully we can do that again soon and film a lot of it for you guys. That way you can see the journey and the charging and how everything works, and just sightsee with us. The Autopilot, I like to rest my hand at the bottom of the steering wheel, and I put the steering wheel in chill mode, so I barely have to touch it or put weight on it for it to know that I'm still here. Another thing I like. So, say there's someone too close, or you can't tell in your blind spot what's going on. The car shows you, but you can also hit this button right here and pull up your cameras. It's going to show you 2 side cameras and your rear camera, even though this does have 8 cameras. These are the ones you need to be seeing that you can't actually physically see that spot. So, it shows me the both blind spots and right behind me. Self-drive, if you don't have the full self-drive package but you have the right hardware, or what they used to be $200 a month, you can get it, and they lowered it to $100 a month, so you can actually do that instead of paying the large lump sum, which is, I think right now it's $5,000 as long as you have the auto package, the Autopilot package, to upgrade to the full self-drive. I'd have to double check that, but for some people you don't need the full self-drive all the time. It's nice, it really is, but for the most part, Autopilot does what you need it to do, and you can save a few $1,000s just subscribing to full self-drive the months you need it. What I wish it would bring back, so when you do have full self-drive, they don't let you do the double tap the stalk to engage. They make you do a single. Now what I like is in Autopilot, I have to do a double. So the first one turns on your adaptive cruise control, and the second one turns on the Autopilot. So if I change lanes, or if I want to take over for a second, I shouldn't have to put my foot back on the throttle. I should be able to just change the lanes and re-engage and be fine. Now, when they remove the double tap stalk, or you double tap the stalk to engage the full self-drive, anytime you do that, you have to put your foot on the throttle or it will slow down and brake. So it's a little annoying. I'm sure they're going to put it back because there's a setting there. It's just grayed out. But I really like that about the autopilot feature, because I don't have to put my foot on the throttle ever until I'm ready to stop. Now, it will stop if it was like you're coming up on a red light and there's a car sitting at the red light. I don't have to brake. The car will do everything. You can keep it engaged. It slows down a little bit closer than you would think, but it comes to a safe stop. Phone holder here. I got a MagSafe phone holder that just connects to the back of the screen here with like a double-sided adhesive, and then the little MagSafe flips up and I can adjust it to the size that I need. So if I wanted to record in vertical, I could have had my phone standing upright, but there's no need for that. Exit ramp or the on ramp here, just so I can get on the right side. And anytime you turn your blinker on, it shows you your blind spot and lets you know you can get over. If you can't, it'll have like a red line there, and the whole thing will highlight red, letting you know, hey, you can't get over, or someone's coming really fast, you shouldn't get over yet. And it's the same thing when you're backing out of a parking space, which usually I back into them, but just say by the chance you're pulling into one, if you're reversing and someone's coming and you can't see them yet, the car's going to let you know, hey, someone's driving through here, do not back up, red line, and it puts the red line on the side that the car is. So it's pretty handy. lot of things you can do in this car. It's got a full-blown web browser, so you can search the internet. When you're parked, you can watch videos. You can go to the theater, watch Netflix, Hulu. You got YouTube, a bunch of other things like that, or in the browser. There's a website called A Better Theater, and it's got everything, including Plex, and you can watch anything. So it's pretty nice. So let's say you show up to a charger, and you're supposed to charge for 10 minutes, but you're like, you know what? Let's just stay here a little longer. You can watch a movie or show or whatever you're trying to do just to kill time. Sometimes I like to take naps if I'm on a really long road trip. I'll just plug it in, and I know like I'm just gonna pull a charge and I'm gonna take a short nap. It works. Might take this to the car wash. I think it does. You're not supposed to get electric vehicles wet, they say, right? Even though I leave my car plugged in the rain, the snow. Never shocked me. In the sunlight, like, if I cannot directly see the stoplight, I'll watch the screen, and the screen will tell me when the light goes green. It goes red to green. Or the car will just beep and let you know, hey, it's green. That wasn't a good example just because we're so far from those lights. It was a little dim, but it was still showing it on the screen. But as we drive through these lights here, you can actually see the green light or red if it changes on us. Up here, I will be enabling the free roll. forgot to put my foot on the brake. This is shit to drive. Unfold and exit car wash mode. And they got free vacuum things over here that I could use. But yeah, no, that's the gist of it. Absolutely love this car. I did drive a 2016 Nissan Titan XD with 5.0 Cummins. And that truck, I love that truck. It was awesome. It was deleted, tuned, it had methanol injection. I would tow anything. I would tow dump trucks and everything. I hauled a bucket truck from Kentucky down to Florida for one of my cable crews whenever I was doing cable, and it didn't miss a beat. I got up to 99,000 miles on that truck. The turbo was starting to leak oil. The rings were sealed and the turbo were going bad. And I wasn't ready to go through all that. And I was spending about $600 a month in diesel. So I looked around and I was like, you know what? There's one of these cars. I'm skeptical. I'm gonna go test drive it and see what it's about. And whenever I rode this thing, or I drove it, this thing was so fast. I was like, yeah, I have to have that.